Good day, student. Hope you all are fine. This is your teacher, Mrs. Sarah Shakil, and I welcome you in your social studies class. And today we are going to do agriculture and livestock part 2. We will continue our chapter. Let's revise what we have learned in our previous class. Then we will continue with this lesson. What is agriculture? Agriculture refers to farming or the cultivation of plants and animals to obtain food. Agriculture is the basis of survival and the backbone of economics, irrespective of how industrialized or developed they are. Agriculture includes not only the cultivation of crops but also the rearing of livestock, cattle, poultry, and fishes. In this slide you can see earliest people have gathered these hunters, and ancient humans discovered the idea of agriculture thousands of years ago. Researchers agree that the earliest humans were hunter-gatherers. Humans developed agriculture, which meant they had to stay in one place waiting for crops to grow. After this, villages and towns were formed. Climate. The climate of a place determines what crops can be grown there. The availability of fertile land with a good supply of water is essential for agriculture. Why agriculture is important? Agriculture is important for food, for raw materials, providing fodder for domestic animals, raising livestock, provide employment, provide fabrics, and it is a source of livelihood. I explained you in our previous class. Yes, in our previous class we also learned about livestock farming. Livestock refers to all animals raised on farms for meat, dairy products, transport, labor, and other purposes. Here you can see pictures of meat. This is mutton, and the dairy products. You can see they are using as a labor here, and these are for the transport. Poultry farming. Chicken are raised in a controlled environment in a poultry farms. Hens, ducks, and geese are known as poultry. They are raised on farms for meat and eggs, because meat and eggs we use them in our daily life. Sorry, this slide was missed. Yes, fish farming. Some fisheries raise youth fishes from eggs and then release them into rivers and lakes to increase their number in an area. Such farms are called hatcheries. You can see these are eggs, fish eggs, and after that they release them into the rivers or lake for the increase of the number of fishes. Shellfish such as crab, lobster and prawns are bred in farms. Fish farming is a profitable business. Yes, student, we will continue our lesson now. This is new. Factors affecting agriculture. Number 1, suitable climate. Number 2, flat and fertile soil. Number 3, adequate water supply. Number 4, pest. Number 5, soil management. Number 6, waterlogging and salinity. And last is natural disaster. Number 1 is suitable climate. Climate, type of land and soil condition affects the crops. Climate determines the region, time and type of crops that can be grown in a place. For example, wheat requires a warm and dry climate. हर क्रॉप के लिए अलग अलग हमें रिक्वायरमेंट होती है कि किस तरह उनको गर्म मौसम चाहिए, पानी चाहिए, ड्राई क्लाइमेट चाहिए, कैसा चाहिए. Yes, student, I have one question for you. You can see this picture. The boy is thinking, so you also have to think about it. The question is, what would happen if you tried to grow wheat in North Pole area where there is snow throughout the year and hardly any sunlight? हाँ जी, नॉर्थ पोल में जहाँ हर तरफ आपको सिर्फ बर्फ़ ही बर्फ़ नज़र आती है, अगर वहाँ आपको उगाने के लिए कहा जाए, हार्वेस्ट करने के लिए कि चलें भाई यहाँ का एरिया देखें और सनलाइट भी वहाँ नहीं आती, तो आप क्या करेंगे? This is question for you. When you will come back to school, I will ask you this question. Okay? Next one is flat and fertile soil. Growing crops on flat land is easier than on a slope or a rocky land because water given to the crops can be absorbed into the soil instead of running down the slope. Yes. Plain fertile land supports agriculture. Riverbank and floodplains are the most suitable areas of agriculture. They have the most fertile soil and the flat land. In Pakistan, the plains of Sindh and the Punjab are the most suitable area for agriculture. Next one is adequate water supply. Too much or too little water are both dangerous for the crops. The water supply to fields must be adequate. Farmers must be very careful with the amount of water that they let into fields. Too much or too little water can destroy an entire harvest. हमें पानी का ज़रूर एहतियात रखना चाहिए, ज़्यादा पानी भी नहीं देना चाहिए क्योंकि as I told you earlier that most of the crops need little water and some need a lot of water. तो हमें बैलेंस देखना चाहिए, पता चलना चाहिए कि किस क्रॉप को कितना पानी चाहिए. तो इसलिए ज़्यादा पानी भी बहुत ज़्यादा डेंजरस हो जाता है और बहुत कम भी पूरी क्रॉप को ख़राब कर देता है. After some crops such as rice requires the inches of standing water. राइस जो है वो सबसे ज़्यादा पानी चाहिए होता है उस क्रॉप के लिए कि वहाँ क्रॉप जब हो तो उस वक्त पानी कंटिन्यू खड़ा रहता है. There are many ways of managing water. River water, rainwater, or other forms of fresh water are stored in reservoirs and supplied through canals, tube wells, and sprinklers. Do you know sprinklers? Canals, I think you should know. You must know about canals and tube wells. But sprinklers क्या होते हैं? Let's see in the next slide. These are canals. ठीक है? You can see there are crops. Fields are there और साथ ही canals हैं. So it's very good they supply water. And this is tube well. This is also tube well. You can see water is running and it's going to the directly going to the fields. This is sprinklers. देख रहे हैं एक पाइप बना दिया और उसको चारों तरफ से इसमें होल कर दिए हैं या मे बी दे पुट सम मशीन और तो ये घूमता रहता है चारों तरफ और सबको एक साथ मिल जाता है. Next slide is about pests. Pests are living organisms that cause damage to agricultural products. They include weeds and parasitic organisms. Some examples are weevils, moths, some species of worms, fungus, etc. This is weevils. This is moth. And you can see this a fungus on tomato और यहाँ प्लांट के ऊपर पत्ते के ऊपर भी देखें आप देख रहे हैं कि ये खराब हो गया है. So this is pest. Okay, let's go to the new slide. Pesticides are often sprayed to fight or control pests, but their overuse can cause other damage to crop, humans and animals. In this picture you can see they are spraying on the crops. These are the pests. छोटे छोटे कीड़े लगे हुए देखिए. And in this slide you can see आप देख सकते हैं जैसे आजकल थोड़े टाइम पहले पाकिस्तान के अंदर टिड्डी दल आ गया था. ठीक है, तो in this picture you can see clearly, बिल्कुल क्लियर नज़र आ रहा है कि देख रहे हैं आप. तो इनकी वजह से फिर स्प्रे करना पड़ता है. People or farmers must be very careful about pesticide when they use them on the crops. Next slide is about soil management. Soil is the top layer of the earth. It consists of broken rock particles and contain minerals and nutrients. Nutrients are important parts in the soil. आप देख रहे हैं कि जितनी ज़्यादा सॉइल फर्टाइल होगी, अच्छी होगी, उसमें मिनरल्स होंगे, उसमें न्यूट्रिएंट्स होंगे, तो प्लांट जो है वो अच्छा ग्रो करेगा. Soil provide energy to plants. Before planting any new crop, farmers must test the condition of the soil and then decide what nutrients it needs. Nutrients in soil. Some crops use up more nutrients than others. Sometimes one kind of nutrients is required in a large quantity. Different kinds of manure and fertilizers provide different nutrients. Some nutrients necessary for plant growth are carbon, phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, sulphur, calcium, magnesium, silicon, sodium and zinc. In the slide you can see in this picture you can see most of them are written here what I have read. Next slide is waterlogging and salinity. Soil that remains wet throughout the year is said to be a waterlogged. All plants require air, and if the soil does not dry out fast enough, it becomes unsuitable for growing crop. आपने देखा जब गीली हो जाती है तो फिर जब सॉइल गीली हो जाती है तो फिर वो नाकाबिले इस्तेमाल होती है. जैसे ये देख रहे हैं आप, वाइट वाइट सब आ गया, सेमर थोर जिसको कहा जाता है. ठीक है, तो वो ये सारा एरिया जैसे इस तरह हो जाता है तो वो क्रॉप्स के लिए अच्छा नहीं है. वाटर कंटेन्स मैनी मिनरल्स इंक्लूडिंग सॉल्ट इन स्मॉल क्वांटिटी. जब ज़्यादा क्वांटिटी में हो जाता है सॉल्ट तो वो सारी क्रॉप खराब हो जाती है. Yes, the term salinity refers to the amount of dissolved salt that are present in water. Crops cannot grow in saline soil. This is a major problem for farmers in arid regions. आप देख सकते हैं ये इसमें वाइट वाइट थोड़ा सा है, सेम और थोड़. ठीक है, बट farmer is very you can say farmer is not happy and he is very worried about it. This area you can see ना पानी है, बिल्कुल सख्त हो गया है, तो this is not good. और सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या है फार्मर्स के लिए, यही एरिया होता है जब ऐसी जब वाइट एरिया हो जाता है, सेम और थोर जो है वो इस एरिया में हो जाता है. Experts are trying to find permanent, inexpensive solution to these problems. Okay. Next one is natural disaster. The most common natural disaster in Pakistan is flooding. It caused great damage to food crops. This results in food shortage and economic losses for farmers. Here you can see सैलाब आ गया है तो उनकी सारी क्रॉप्स जो है वो ख़राब हो गई हैं. ठीक है, बेचारे फार्मर्स जो है वो बहुत परेशान हो जाते हैं जब उनके साथ ऐसा मसला होता है. आप ये देख सकते हैं फ्लड आया, पूरा एरिया जो है वो डूब गया है, तो सारी क्रॉप्स जो है वो ख़राब हो जाती है. और कभी कभी ऐसा होता है पेस्ट की वजह से या फ्लडिंग की वजह से पूरी फसल रेडी होती है कटने के लिए पर वो नहीं होती और तबाह बर्बाद हो जाती है. Flooding occurs when there is too much water in river and it overflows onto the land. The collective effort of farmers and government can sometimes control small floods and prevent damage. In this slide you can see flooding. Children, you know that in 2010 flood in Pakistan destroyed crops and displaced people. That time was very crucial for farmers. 2010. I hope students you enjoyed this lesson. Now let's go to the homework. Question number 1. Why is flat land suitable land for farming? Number 2. What are some of the sources of water? Number 3. What are the dangers of using pesticides? And question number 4. Do exercise 2 on book page number 81, and that is choose the correct answer. Students, you have to do your work from first lesson till the present lesson. Do all the activities and question answers. When you will come back to school, Marks will be given to you on the basis of activities and homework. So try to do your work neat and clean. And thank you, student, for listening. Stay home, stay safe.